is humanity's greatest pursuit. Since its inception, the United Nations has stood as a beacon of hope, striving to prevent conflict, protect the vulnerable, and build a better tomorrow. United Nations peacekeeping brings together nations, cultures, and forces, uniting them under one mission: peace. From monitoring ceasefires to protecting civilians, peacekeepers safeguard lives and restore dignity where conflict has torn it apart. The journey began on 29th of May 1948 in Palestine with the UN Truce Supervision Organization. The first step in a mission that continues to this day. Today, 119 nations contribute their soldiers and resources. A true testament to global solidarity. From Africa to Asia, the Middle East to Europe, United Nations peacekeeping has undertaken over 70 missions across the globe, each a story of resilience and cooperation. Despite operational commitments at home, the Indian Army has been a steadfast contributor to global peace. Since 1950, India has participated in 53 of 72 UN peacekeeping missions, deploying nearly 300,000 soldiers, among the largest contributions by any nation. Through courage and sacrifice, 164 Indian soldiers have made the supreme sacrifice under the UN flag, a testament to India's resolve for world peace. Today, over 5,000 Indian peacekeepers serve in 9 missions across the world, including 5 infantry contingents, 11 specialist units, and 188 staff officers and military observers. India has also provided 16 force commanders, divisional commanders, and senior military advisors, shaping the UN's most critical operations. Whenever disaster has struck, Indian contingents have delivered food, water, shelter, and hope to displaced families. Indian medical teams have been a lifeline, conducting medical camps, surgeries, and specialized care for thousands every year. These efforts not only heal, but establish sustainable healthcare systems in conflict zones. In rural and conflict-hit regions, Indian troops organize veterinary camps, saving thousands of livestock, protecting livelihoods, and building resilience for local communities. Our engineers rebuild lives, constructing vital infrastructure for a better tomorrow. Indian peacekeepers strengthen local forces through structured training and capacity building initiatives. From skill development programs on health, education, and equality to yoga outreach promoting holistic well-being, Indian peacekeepers build trust and resilience within communities. At the heart of our mission lies the protection of civilians, ensuring safety for the most vulnerable. Female engagement teams of the Indian Army, now deployed across all missions, connect deeply with women and children. From gathering information to assisting in humanitarian crises, they build dialogue, trust, and security where it matters most. To heal invisible wounds of conflict, India has embedded psychological counselors in mission hospitals, bringing care, stability, and hope to affected populations. From clean energy to ecological initiatives, India champions sustainability within UN missions. Empowered by Atmanirbharta, India deploys indigenous vehicles, surveillance systems, and advanced communications in peacekeeping. These self-reliant technologies ensure safety, mobility, and effectiveness, strengthening not just India, but collective global peace. Peace is more than absence of conflict. Through education, empowerment and equality, Indian peacekeepers help rebuild societies on stronger foundations. Enshrined in our civilizational ethos, the world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Our peacekeepers embody this eternal philosophy, serving humanity beyond borders. The UN Troop Contributing Countries Chiefs Conclave reaffirms this shared resolve, bringing together nations to strengthen peacekeeping and chart the course of a safer future. Peace is humanity's greatest pursuit. Since its inception, the United Nations has stood as a beacon of hope, striving to prevent conflict, protect the vulnerable, and build a better tomorrow. United Nations peacekeeping brings together nations, cultures, and forces, uniting them under one mission: peace. From monitoring ceasefires to protecting civilians, peacekeepers safeguard lives and restore dignity where conflict has torn it apart. The journey began on 29th of May 1948 in Palestine.
Check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we are saying. Thank you.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check. Check 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Check.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May we seek your kind cooperation to please settle down. And as you all settle down, may we also request you to keep your electronic gadgets on the silent mode. Thank you very, very much. And on that note, just to remind all of you, this event is broadcasted live on the YouTube channel of Indian Army's Public Relations Wing, ADGPI, which is Additional Directorate General of Public Information. ADGPI social media channels, namely X, Meta, Instagram, and WhatsApp are also active, and you can also engage with the live updates of the program as it is broadcasted in the mission areas along with our social media channels. And with that, our much valued guest in attendance, ladies and gentlemen, this is to state that as soon as the External Affairs Minister of India arrives in the hall, it is expected of all of us to rise in his honor, and the same goes for his departure from this hall as well. Thank you. As our guests coming and continue to settle down, I must say that it is my profound privilege and indeed a great honor to be welcoming all of you to the day 3 of this high-level forum, the Chiefs Conclave of the United Nations Troop Contributing Countries, hosted by the Indian Army here in the city of New Delhi very much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, as you join us, and also for starting this morning by contributing towards a greener and, may I say, a sustainable future with the tree plantation activity that we indulged in right in the morning. This, I must reiterate, is a unique forum where the collective experience, the wisdom and commitment of the militaries and nations, as you can witness the prowess, has indeed converged together to deliberate on shared responsibility of the international community towards the maintenance of peace under the United Nations Charter. Well, I once again extend my hearty gratitude to the dignitaries from the friendly foreign countries and all the participants for being a part of this historic event. We look forward to this enriching last day of discussions, deliberations, sharing of ideas, and our enthusiasm, of course. Very shortly, in few minutes from now, we will be expecting the arrival of the Minister of External Affairs, India, ladies and gentlemen. As we all, ladies and gentlemen, wait in anticipation of the minister, may we once again draw your attention towards engaging and definitely checking all the live updates, as I said, on the YouTube channel of ADGPI. I repeat, ADGPI. With the same name, we are also active on the social media channels, the X, Meta, Instagram, also on WhatsApp. ADGPI is the social media handle of the Indian Army. We will request you, as and when during your networking time, please do engage and check all the updates on the channel. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just in a few seconds, we're expecting the arrival of the External Affairs Minister of India. It is expected that as soon as he arrives in the hall, we rise in his honor, and the same goes for his departure from the hall as well. Thank you. We are now pleased to announce the arrival of the External Affairs Minister of India. It is, ladies and gentlemen, a privilege to welcome a personality as eminent and inspiring as Shri Dr. S. Jaishankar, External Affairs Minister of India. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a visionary thinker who has always, I must say, encouraged a shared, prosperous future and an equal voice for all stakeholders. Shri Dr. Jaishankar's vision has consistently guided India's approach to peacekeeping, ensuring that the commitment of our soldiers in the field is matched by the clarity of good intent and strategic foresight. With him on the stage, we also have the distinguished presence of General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of Army Staff, Indian Army. Ambassador P. Harish, the permanent representative to Permanent Mission of India at the UN. Well, ladies and gentlemen, they say that act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. I am your Sutradhar, your Master of Ceremonies. My name is Shikha Singh, and I must say that hosting this conference is significant and strategic and symbolic. It underscores India's commitment not just to the ideals of peacekeeping, but also to strengthening international cooperation and adapting to the rapidly changing character of conflict and emerging challenges in the UN peacekeeping operations, and most importantly, doing so with a human-centric approach. Hence today, the imperative for greater convergence and unity amongst the peacekeepers has been never so critical. In this regard, Dr. Jaishankar, we look forward to your thoughts on how troop-contributing nations may shape the peacekeeping doctrines to remain effective, how diplomacy and soldiering converge to achieve as well as protect peace with dignity, fairness, and justice. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of us, may I now request the External Affairs Minister of India, Padma Shri Dr. S. Jaishankar, to please address the august gathering. Sir, please.
Distinguished chiefs of troop contributing countries, Chief of Army Staff, Ambassador Harish, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to address this distinguished gathering of military leaders from troop contributing countries, the architects, the upholders, and the messengers of peace. You reflect the strength of an institution that has, for nearly 8 decades now, stood out as a beacon of hope in a conflict-ridden world, United Nations peacekeeping. As Foreign Minister of a country that has contributed immensely to this cause, I'm here to share our perspectives, not only on the challenges before us, but also on the principles that must guide us in shaping the future of global peace and security. India approaches peacekeeping from its civilizational ethos. We see the world as one family, a vision enshrined in the timeless phrase of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is not just cultural wisdom, but an outlook that anchors our worldview. It is why India has consistently advocated for justice, dignity, opportunity, and prosperity for all societies and peoples. It is also why we place our faith in multilateralism and international partnerships. The global challenges we face, from pandemics to terrorism and economic instability to climate change, these challenges are interconnected and they transcend national borders. Our responses, therefore, must be more cooperation, transcending the competitive aspects of international politics. The natural starting point for such collaboration is the United Nations. I've just come back from New York after attending the 80th UN General Assembly. And let me share with you some key insights from that experience. One, the United Nations today still reflects the realities of 1945, not of 2025. 80 years is a long time by any standards. And during this period, the UN membership has actually quadrupled. Two, institutions that fail to adapt risk irrelevance. Not just irrelevance, but eroding legitimacy and leaving us without recourse in times of uncertainty. Three, for the UN to be effective, it must reform, becoming more inclusive, democratic, participative, and, as I said, representative of today's world. And four, it must amplify the voices of the developing world and reflect the aspirations of the rising global south. The UN's legitimacy, and I would say the UN's credibility, depends on it doing so. Now, there is a strong desire among members of the UN for a reformed United Nations, including expansion of the permanent and non-permanent categories of membership of the Security Council. However, the process of reform itself is being used to derail that agenda. As a result, I'm sorry to say, historical injustices still continue. India affirms its commitment to assume greater responsibilities in a reformed United Nations and in a reformed multilateralism. Now, this brings me to the core of our discussions, UN peacekeeping. Since its inception, it has been a testament to what we can achieve when nations unite for a larger cause. Our peacekeepers have been really a powerful force for good. These brave sons and daughters put their lives on the line to protect civilians, to deliver humanitarian aid, and to support fragile peace processes. They are the real torchbearers of multilateralism. Now, let me honor today the more than 4,000 UN and 182 Indian peacekeepers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. They stand out as a testament to bravery, and their legacy remains a solemn call to action for all of us. We must ensure that their message lives on. Now, as you would all be aware, peacekeeping was not originally envisaged in the UN Charter. The very concept of peacekeeping has evolved over the years. Currently, it draws its mandate from the decisions of the UN Security Council. Changing geopolitical dynamics, the complexities of world affairs, and the nature of conflicts have all shaped the demands of peacekeeping. We all recognize that peacekeeping has been the flagship endeavor and the most effective instrument of the United Nations. When it comes to peacekeeping operations, allow me to flag 7 concerns for your collective consideration. One, troop contributing countries as well as host states must be consulted while formulating mandates of peacekeeping missions. Two, peacekeeping can only be effective if mandates are commensurate with the resources allocated to the missions. Three, these mandates must always be realistic and always be clear. Four, the primary responsibility for protection of civilians still lies with the host state. Five, technology and peacekeeping go hand in hand and is, in fact, a force multiplier in peacekeeping operations. As a nation that has embraced innovation, let me underline that India stands ready to be a technology demonstrator to enhance the operational capacity of peacekeeping. Six, to address the needs of strategic communication, we must strive to counter mis- and disinformation. The role of ICT is therefore very important. And seven, paramount importance must be given to the safety and security of peacekeepers. We must always ensure that perpetrators of any attack on them must be brought to justice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the nature of conflict has clearly changed. The clear lines of state-on-state warfare have been blurred. We often face on the ground a complex and ambiguous matrix of non-state actors, of armed groups, and of terrorist organizations. These entities operate outside the norms of international law, employ asymmetric tactics from IEDs to cyber warfare, making our work more dangerous and more unpredictable. The traditional role of a peacekeeper as a buffer between two warring states has also evolved significantly. Today, our peacekeepers must be prepared to protect civilians from harm, respond to humanitarian crises, and yet operate in environments where the enemy wears no uniform and respects no rules. This difficult reality demands a new paradigm for peacekeeping. It requires enhanced training, sophisticated technology, and a reevaluation of our mandates. We must equip peacekeepers to deal with asymmetric threats, ensure their own safety, and yet deliver on their missions. That means investing in surveillance systems, protective gear, cyber capabilities, and mission preparedness of the highest standard. It is likely that the peacekeeping budget will see headwinds. We will need to see how we can overcome this constraint while adhering to the core principles of maintenance of peace and security. This should also be an opportunity to undertake measures of making UN peacekeeping more financially and administratively rigorous, like winding down obsolete missions that have outlived their purpose. For India, participation in UN peace operations is a profound expression of our responsibility as a member state and of our belief in global commitments. Since inception, we have contributed over 300,000 troops cumulatively, making us the world's largest troop contributing country. Our peacekeepers have served and are serving with distinction and professionalism in some of the world's most challenging theaters. This includes South Sudan, Lebanon, Syria, and the DRC, amongst others. This sustained commitment stems from our conviction that peace anywhere strengthens peace everywhere. We also take great pride that we have walked the talk in our commitment towards women, peace, and security. Our women peacekeepers have demonstrated the unique impact that they have. They build trust in communities and give hope to vulnerable populations, especially women and children. We believe that it is no longer a question of whether women can do peacekeeping. Rather, it is whether peacekeeping can succeed without women. I recall that in February 2025, India hosted the first ever international conference on women peacekeepers from the Global South, bringing together women peacekeepers from 35 nations. More recently, in August this year, India hosted the UN Women Military Officers Course, which saw participation from 15 countries. I'm also glad to note that this August gathering has, over the last 2 days, deliberated on issues closely associated with and important to the maintenance of peace and security. Peacekeeping is and will remain an important instrument of the UN in this pursuit. We need to adapt and we need to change according to the times so as to make peacekeeping more effective and more resilient. This is best reached through consultations and engagement between member states as we discuss the evolving nature of the future of peacekeeping. The Global South has both a particular contribution and a particular relevance insofar as peacekeeping is concerned. Unfortunately, the maximum number of conflict zones are located there. In fact, the requirements of the Global South are themselves distinct, calling for unique, regional, and even local solutions. This is why conferences of this type are valuable in engaging on a single platform in the search for optimal solutions. India has always stood with our brothers and sisters of the Global South and will continue to help with our expertise and long-standing experience across all domains, including in peacekeeping. Let us therefore commit to working together, collectively, constructively, and by consensus, to shaping a renewed vision of peacekeeping, one that honors the sacrifices of the past, that adapts to the challenges of the present, and that commits to the promise of the future. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jaishankar, for your invaluable thoughts on the significant role of multilateralism, diplomacy, and defense cooperation in sustaining peace efforts worldwide, wherein UN troops remain one of the most significant contributors. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as part of the felicitation ceremony, now in his honor, we would like to present the External Affairs Minister a painting that captures Captain Gurbachan Singh Salaria in action during Operation UNUCAT in Congo as part of the UN mission ONUC, where he led a fearless charge with bayonets and kukris, preventing enemy reinforcements despite such overwhelming odds. For his act of gallantry, he was posthumously awarded the Paramveer Chakra by the President of India. On behalf of all the participating nations, may I now request General Dwivedi to present the special painting and the conclave souvenir to the External Affairs Minister of India, Shri Dr. S. Jaishankar. Sir, your optimism and vision for UNTCCs is indeed so inspiring. Shri Dr. S. Jaishankar, on behalf of all our distinguished delegates, I must once again extend our deepest appreciation and gratitude for your presence here with us. Thank you very much, General Dwivedi, for doing the honors. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, as the Minister will now depart the Zorawar Hall, we will wait for some important announcements for the day to be made. All in the audience are kindly requested to remain in the hall. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. With that, allow me to apprise that the dignitaries will now depart for the President House for a meet and greet with the Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmu. They will be escorted by their respective protocol officers to their respective vehicles. Ladies and gentlemen, also please note that you're requested to join us for the working lunch that is scheduled from 1:10 to 2:10 p.m. at the Manekshaw Center. At 2:20 p.m., please join in the Ashoka Hall for a fireside chat on leveraging technology in UN peacekeeping. With that, I would like to render my thank you to all of you. We may please now disperse. Thank you so much.